What's up, I'm Gnarwhal and welcome to my sword tech video, how to master the sword. I've been using it since the finals came out because I'm a whore for swords, and it's my favorite kind of weapon to use. Alright, with the sword there are two main attacks that you're going to want to use, the first of which is the light attack that just swings left to right like this, and the second of which is the thrusted heavy attack. We'll go into both of these in depth later in the video. So before we go any further, we're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success with the sword. So in the light contestant loadout, I would say that the best things that you're going to want to use for this loadout are evasive dash, especially because you're using a sword. The invis and grapple can be used, but the evasive dash having 3 charges is really going to let you get up close to your enemies and hit them with the melee weapon. Next, you're going to want to have the stun gun so that you can zap people and get close to them. You're also going to want the vanishing bomb so you can get intros and escapes efficiently. I also pair it with the breach charge so that I can make those nukes on canisters, throw them at people and detonate, and also so I can have a little bit more mobility through buildings. I would also say that the glitch grenade is a very powerful option on this build to deal with mediums and sometimes heavies. I can also really see the motion sensor and thermal vision being decent, but I have not used them too in depth yet. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the attacks of the sword in depth a little bit more. The light attack is interesting because it works a lot like Reinhardt's attack if you've ever played Overwatch. The hitbox for each attack travels across your screen left to right. So if I'm doing a right to left attack, as is the first attack of every light attack spree, it will hit earlier if I put the target to the right side of my screen as opposed to on the left. So you can kind of game the system by looking back and forth rapidly like this. Obviously, it doesn't increase your time to kill if you're only using the light attack, but once we start comboing these together, it's going to become a little bit more important. As for the heavy attack, it has a built-in lunge mechanic that makes you travel about 5 meters from the starting position. Because of this, I would say the heavy attack is by far your greatest asset in your suite of attacks. Additionally, the heavy attack also has what I like to call an active attack time, where you can hit somebody as long as the tip is thrust out like that. You can use this to your advantage to do multiple weird things like this. And I hit them after the attack has been thrust out. I'll give you another example. To show you just how ridiculous this active attack thing is, take a look at this clip in slow motion. Got him. The other kind of attack that we're going to be using in this is the quick melee. We're going to do this so that we can combo these melees together in interesting ways. One way to combo this together is to get an insta-kill on a light. Here's an example of me using this combo in-game.
And everything's exploding.
Oh my god, what a combo!
I'm dead.
But probably the most important thing to note about the quick melee is that it'll cancel your animation so you can get a little bit more damage in. You're going to want to use this to finish off characters mostly. Don't be throwing it between every attack, as that will slow down your killing time drastically. On screen is an example of this being used to its fullest potential.
Nice.
As for the way you want to play with the sword, avoid being the center of attention in any fight, even more so on sword because you have to get close to do damage. This is why I like having the breach charges on me, because it allows me to do a lot of damage from far away. Once again, here's an example of both of these tips being utilized in a game. Got them all? They're all dead?
Nice.
As for when you're in the middle of battle, I would say you want to almost always intro with a heavy attack so that you can get a lot of damage off immediately. The invis bomb is used way better for intros rather than escapes, as you're right up in the face of the enemy when you're trying to get out and they end up hitting you anyways. You really want to avoid heavies like the plague, like you do at any point when you're on the light class, but especially when you're on the sword because you have to get close to do damage, and that makes them way more dangerous. The last tip for standard play I want to give is to stay near buildings, as it gives you a much closer combat area and you won't be caught out in sightlines. When you're using the sword, each different class you're fighting has a very good way to go up against them. Like, as for lights, like I showed you earlier, a quick heavy attack, quick melee can take out a light immediately. This is why if you are up against a light, it's best to try and throw it out and get that quick kill. As for mediums, I've found that the best way to deal with them is to, like always, start with a heavy attack, do a light melee, and then a quick melee, and that will always kill a medium. This is when it might be smart to equip yourself with a glitch grenade in case mediums have turrets and all other gadgets set up to kill you. Turrets, and especially poison, are very lethal to you and your meager 150 health. As for heavies, they're going to be your biggest threat when using the sword by far, so you're going to have to come up with some creative ways to deal with them. Keep in mind that the RPG one-hits you, and the charge is going to be way more deadly because you're going to have to get up close with the sword. A few good ways to deal with heavies are by using the zappy gun to keep them in place, and then by doing flybys of heavy attacks. What I've done a lot is I hit them with a heavy attack, run away, come back, hit them with another, and then try to finish them either on the next attack or whenever I can. Remember that the goal with heavies is to gradually whittle their health down, so make sure to use everything in your kit to make that easier. The last few things I want to note is that I've heard a way that you can animation cancel on the sword to get faster melees, which is probably only going to be useful if you get really good at it, and I wouldn't try to do it in normal games. Additionally, getting stunned by the stun gun leaves you absolutely useless as you can't move and nobody's going to stay near enough to get meleeed by the sword. The last thing I'd like to note is dead go boom. Dead definitely go boom. It's the worst modifier to have when you're using the sword. Just be afraid of that. Do not stay near somebody or try to kill somebody with, almost don't even try to kill somebody with the sword when dead go boom is active. It's almost not worth it. All right, that's basically everything I've learned about using the sword in the finals as quickly as I could. Thank you for watching, and stay gnarly, my friends. See you next time. Bye.